Okay, folks, let's see what we can do with this piece. This will be an interesting one. This piece came from some of my own rubbish, and I figured I'll use it because you can do some nice things with it. We're going to drop out the magenta because it looks ugly in shiny things, and also we're running low on magenta soon, I suspect. I don't know when it's going to go to low toner, which means I have to order it. And it's today is a Friday, so there's no way I'm getting toner today. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use this. Yeah, we're going to use that. Okay, let's see what we have here. We have here a piece of drink like Milo. I think it's a Milo foil that I picked off my old Milo can and decided to keep it instead of just putting it in the bin straight away. So this comes off a Milo tin. What's called Milo, we Australians like. Well, I don't know if Milo ever was Australian, but they're made by Nestle, which is not Australian. But most things here in Australia are not made in Australia. So just face it, our country is mostly filled with foreign-owned stuff. Even much of our heritage products, like I think Vegemite was bought back by Bega, so we had a success there. But basically, most of the stuff that we have in Australia is basically become foreign owned. Really, we've lost the fair dinkumness in our fucking country. Really hate that, fucks. You know, I really hate that sort of shit. You know, I really want Australia to have like its own branding and its own everything to be. Everything that's got an Australian label, like Vegemite or Weet-Bix. I don't know if Weet-Bix is still. I think Weet-Bix is still Australian owned, but it just feels like Australia has just become really foreign owned sort of shit. There's no fucking pride because people are so obsessed with money, and these rich people who run the companies don't care that they're selling off Australian heritage, you know, brand pride. You know, we don't have anything in this fucking country. This fucking country is totally screwed with the love of money. You know, honestly, I want to one day revolutionise photocopiers. I want to make a company that manufactures its own photocopiers, but I don't want it to be I don't want to fucking have any foreign ownership. I do want to hire people from other countries, like skilled migrants who are also passionate about photocopiers, and basically I'm trying to work out how to do this. Yeah, I want to hire skilled migrants that are really passionate about photocopiers, but they've got to basically become Australian citizens, so they've got to commit themselves to the Australian way of life. But when they do, they're going to get really good work conditions and pay conditions. They're going to get paid a lot of money compared with the factories that manufacture photocopiers and electronics and other stuff, because most of them are into creating slaves, a slave economy, and that's just not acceptable. And that's why a lot of companies, even Australia, it's always made in China instead of made in Australia. We don't have much manufacturing in this country anymore. We used to manufacture cars and shit, but not anymore. And it's just not good for our economy. It doesn't make sense. So my company is going to be a company that's 100% Australian owned. The products are going to eventually become, in my ambition, to be 100% Australian design and 100% Australian made. So I'm really going to push the Australian ism in this company that's going to build the best photocopiers man has ever seen. And I'm not going to give in to anyone. If anyone wants to buy this company out, fuck yes. Indeed, fuck yes. I'm not going to do it. Folks, I'm not going to do it. I refuse to give in to the foreign ownership stupidity. You know, foreign ownership, I'm not interested. I don't want it. I'm going to leave it on 107, fuck it. Maybe we can darken it a bit. But basically, I'm just not interested in being offered a huge amount of money to sell up or to make things overseas to keep it cheap. I don't care if this product is going to cost more to make. If I keep the labour in Australia and I keep the conditions, the work conditions next to nobody. What's the word? Second to none. I'm passionate about photocopiers. People who are passionate about photocopiers, basically we are photocopier nerds, photocopier geeks. We're what's known as toner heads, and the only people that are going to be hired, both skilled migrants and Australians born here or born to parents within Australia, whatever. But basically, whether we're Australian born or Australian heritage, or whether you're born in another country and you become an Australian citizen, you're going to be treated the same way as each other, equal. It's not going to be any... It's basically, everyone gets paid the same wage, the same conditions. We're not going to treat the Chinese like slaves, for example, just because their country is to do with slavery. These rich people, these corporations somehow manage to make slave conditions, and we don't want that here in our factory. No thanks. So I really want Australia to be on the map on manufacturing, design, ownership, export. We're not even going to build any factories elsewhere, not even in America. America is my sister country because I was born in Guam to an Australian parents, so I'm Australian and US citizen. As I said, America is the sister country. It's not my primary country. Australia is first. America is my second. But I want to make the conditions here in Australia. I'm not even going to manufacture in America. That's how much I'm committed to Australia. I want Australia to be number one, and America will just use that as a place to market we'll have a huge market over there. So having American citizenship is good for business to help me get around, and that's come up looking really quite a treat. I think we can now call this demo quits.